was having a conversation with my friend Douglas. He asked me two questions. He was asking me about Mike Perry, and he was asking me about Stipe and Ngannou. So let me go in order of this. And before I do, Mike Perry's in the news, right? Mike Perry lost the Robbie Lawler fight, which was going to be so fun, by the way. So he picks up Tim Means. Now, that's a rough night out right there. I used to train with Tim Means. He's a very tough guy. Just share that with you. Let me tell you a quick story, though. I don't know if did I tell you guys about when Mike Perry told me off? Very strongly, he told me off. In fact, I have the text message. And so Mike Perry grappled in Submission Underground, and he looked great. He had this big upset win over Al Iaquinta. He understood the rules. Al kind of controlled position and showed he was a better wrestler. They get into overtime. And it was kind of a big surprise that Perry was the deeper thinker of the EBI rules. In all fairness, he looked great. And so I've reached out to him a couple times, see if he wants to come back. And hold that thought. I hear from Cowboy Cerrone. Got a show coming up in December. I hear from Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy Cerrone wants on the card. And Cowboy sends me a text and says, by the way, if you're going to find me an opponent, I have the same policy in grappling as I do in fighting. I do not care who it is. Going, okay. Love that attitude. Now we're going to have some fun. And I get a hold of Mike Perry. Hey, you interested in Cowboy Cerrone, December 20th? Submission Underground. So he writes me back, and I mean, he lets it out. Whatever he wanted to get off his chest, believe me when I tell you, he covered his bases, and it was funny. I mean, he told me off so strongly, it was funny. And I assumed he was kidding. So I hadn't got to the offer yet. I hadn't got to what the purse was yet. So it's so funny the way he tells me. I just call him instantly. I think I even FaceTimed him. I think I was in an area I didn't have reception. Whatever it was, though, I call Mike Perry. I go to voicemail. So I sent him a text, and all of a sudden, an iPhone, all of a sudden the text comes back green. Mike Perry blocked me, which means he wasn't kidding, which means when he told me off, he was not doing that with like a ha-ha, elbow, elbow, wink, wink. He was telling me how he really felt. So I'm only sharing that story because it's interesting. Douglas asked me what I think about Mike Perry. I think him and Tim Means is a damn hard night out, is what I think for both guys. I think that's a fun fight, but it's not much of a different fight. I mean, right? Robbie Lawler's a brawler. You guys ever seen Tim Means fight? We still got a brawl on our hands here. And then he was asking about Stipe and Ngannou. And look, if there's ever a match that can prove the brilliance of the promoter, the short-term memory of the audience, and the willingness of the media, it is a rematch between Stipe and Ngannou, which was anything but competitive the first time we saw it. And I got to tell you, I feel as though the rematch, in many ways, is representative to what's known as the gambler's fallacy. You guys know about that? You know what the gambler's fallacy is? Let's say you see a card player, or you are the card player, and you've lost 5 hands in a row. The odds don't change that you're going to win the 6th hand, but you feel as though you're due. You take nothing into account that the dealer is now reshuffling the deck, which in all probability, those 52 cards put in that new order is likely the first time in the history of the world that 52 cards have ever been in that order. You have no idea what's going to happen, but you feel I'm due. You put more chips on the table because you've lost 5 in a row. I'm bound to win one. I'm going to put more chips on the table. Gambler's fallacy. The odds don't actually change. You just feel like this next one is due. They have competed for 5 rounds. It was the 5 exact rounds. After the first round, perhaps walking out for the second round, Team Ngannou thought, well, this one's going to be different. We're due one. Well, did it have, okay, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. Now they're going to go to the 6th round. I offer for you no dispute that Ngannou is the #1 contender, and he deserves the opportunity. If he wants to walk out there and do it, with all due respect, please do. But when I look at the line in Vegas, who is well aware of the gambler's fallacy and is well aware of what happened in the first time, and they have Ngannou as a 3-1 favorite, don't you have to shake your head a little bit and just appreciate the wonder of the world and the imagination and the creativity of the sport we live in?